Welcome back to the European holiday of your dreams, cruising through Germany along the main river. Our morning yoga studio magically transforms into an indoor swimming pool, giving us guests the best of both worlds while taking us to our next delightful port, Bamberg. This is the sweetest town. Like, everything is picture book, but at the same time, everything feels original and authentic.
Yeah, it is. Everything is kind of original, authentic, because it wasn't destroyed during the World War II. Bamberg miraculously somehow survived the war. It was mainly, some say there was Kunigunda, or patron saint, saving the city from the bombers in the air. However, the most important reason was that Bamberg was unimportant. There was no industry whatsoever around. Everything got moved away way before the war started.
Well, sometimes it's important not to be important.
Yeah, exactly, especially here in Bamberg.
The entire old town of Bamberg is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and despite its small size, it's packed with architectural delights. The new residence, which served as the seat of Bamberg's Prince Bishops until the early 1800s, is a glimpse into their lavish way of life with its opulent furnishings and even more extravagant gardens.
What's special about it, it's a typical Baroque garden and it's very symmetrical. So people would not only be ruled by the Prince Bishop, but also nature. They always needed to display that they are in power, they are the rule of law, and they needed to have a pompous lifestyle. That was hugely important at the time here in Bamberg.
Well, this is definitely expressed here, a pompous lifestyle.
Most definitely, yeah.
Bamberg is home to over 1,000 years of history, but it's small enough to easily explore on foot.
This was built in the Middle Ages in the 1213 and 1400s, so it's not clear which year each building was built. However, it's quite interesting because back in the day, even though it looks so brilliant nowadays, back then it was considered not at all beautiful because it was the most undesirable place to live in because this was the fisherman's quarter. However, that changed in the 1800s when the Bavarian king took over power and he saw this area saying, "This looks like my favorite city in Italy, where you have buildings built next to the rivers." And that's obviously Venice. And this is why we call this area Little Venice nowadays.
Oh, how beautiful.
Yeah.
From the beautifully preserved town of Bamberg, our Emerald Cruise's Splendours of Europe journey is taking us south to Nuremberg, a city with a much more sombre history. Looking at this landscape, it's pretty hard to believe that this was one of the most bombed cities in Germany in World War II.
I agree. 92% of the old town was completely destroyed. It was heavily bombed, later restored, rebuilt. Today you may have a feeling that you are still in the old town from medieval times, but in fact the majority of what you're looking at is not more than 50, 60 years old.
So what made it such a big target?
Nuremberg was a big transport hub, major cargo distribution point. There were lots of factories which produced for the war effort here as well, so U-boats, tanks were produced here in Nuremberg.
In the decades that followed World War II, much has been done to ensure Nuremberg has risen from the ashes and been restored to its former glory.
Once we passed the gate, we entered the Imperial Castle. This is the oldest part of the castle. Unfortunately, 80% of it was quite badly damaged during the Second World War, later rebuilt, restored, and it was one of the first buildings which they decided to rebuild after the war as a symbol of going back to normality, as a symbol of bringing back life to the city as well.
Just as it's been since ancient times, the main market square remains the heart of the city, famed for its Christmas markets in winter and home to other local specialties all year round.
And this is something what we are really proud of, Nürnberger Lebkuchen, gingerbreads. The reason why Nuremberg became the capital of gingerbreads, of Lebkuchen, is the fact